Wow. All right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of MetsXMFanZone Live Podcast. Hey, everybody, and this is Anthony, and you're listening to the MetsXMFanZone Live Podcast, the show that breaks down everything Mets for major news, Mets blockbuster trades, and more. If you love this episode, please give it a thumbs up, share, like, and subscribe. You can now watch our shows live every day at Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays at 9 p.m. live on all major platforms. You can also check out our website at MetsXMFanZone.com for your latest everything Mets. First off, we want to thank our sponsors for today, SB Sports Athletics, for being our big supporters of our channel. They provide all Mets gear all season long. And if you would like to purchase anything you see on our show today, you guys can go to our website at MetsXMFanZone.com/shop and get your gear today. We got a great lineup of headlines in the Mets world today. I am going to give you my opinion and reactions to the top stories of the day. So we now finally have a new lineup. We are going to be doing not only a new lineup, we're going to be doing a whole new time slot. Our new time slot will be at 9 o'clock for all of you Met lovers. I know you guys love the Mets. So we're now finally going to give you guys exactly what you guys want. We're going to go a little bit later on time. And plus, our shows are not going to be every day from here on. And our shows are going to be from Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, which we have here. So again, our shows will be Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays at 9 p.m. We are live on all major platforms. We're live on Instagram, we're live on Facebook, we're live on YouTube, and we're also live on Twitter. You could also, again, check out our shows on all major platforms by going to Apple Music, Iheart Radio, Spotify, and Amazon Music. All right, so let's give you guys the topics of the day. So, our first topic is we all just ended up hearing earlier tonight that Major League Baseball finally announced the Hall of Fame ballots. Now, I'm a little skeptical exactly on what happened today. I mean, there was a lot of guys that were on this ballot. We heard that Jeff Kent was on the ballot. Carlos Beltran was on this ballot. There was a lot. There's a lot of guys that were on this ballot and that basically didn't get any live reaction. Barry Bonds was on this ballot. I mean, there were so many guys that didn't really get recognized by Major League Baseball, which was so funny was because Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, who else was on this ticket? See if I could pull up the story. Oh, man. I'm just going to pull up the story because I think you guys will want to listen to this. So here was on the ballot. 2023. MLB. Wanted to be able to pull up this news article for you guys. Didn't have it ready. Just waiting for this. All right. So these guys that were on the ballot for today, which I'm actually kind of shocked because they had Todd Huntley on this ballot. There was I think Jimmy Rollins, if I'm not mistaken, was on this ballot also. Just trying to pull up the whole Hall of Fame vote. And so they had third baseman Scott Rollins was the only of the 28 candidates on the Hall of Fame ballot. They had who else was on this ballot? So they had Scott Rollins had 209. He had 297 votes. So Scott Rollins had 297 votes, which was at 76.3%. Then they had Todd Huntley at 281 votes at 72.2%, and obviously Billy Wagner, ex-New York Met, had 265 votes at 68.1%. They had Andrew Jones at 226 votes at 58.1%. Then they had Gary Sheffield at 214 votes. They had Carlos Beltran at 181 votes, which was at 46.5%. And then they had all the way down Alex Rodriguez, Jeff Kent, Manny Ramirez. They had Omar Vizcaíno, Andy Pettitte. They had Bobby Abreu, Jimmy Rollins. They had Francisco Rodriguez, ex-Met also as well. Torrey Hunter. They had Bronson Arroyo. They had R.A. Dickey. They had John Lackey. They had Mike Napoli. They had Hudson Streak, Matt Cain, Jacoby Ellsbury, Andre Ethier, J.J. Hardy, Jonathan Peralta, Jared Weaver, and Jason Worth. So they had a lot of guys that were on this ticket. And they seemed to just put Scott Rowland in there. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Scott Rowland was a really good player, but I mean, let's call it what it is here. I mean, Beltran had really great numbers, and I honestly believe that Billy Wagner had really great numbers too. Because if you guys saw my post, I was like, do you guys think that Billy Wagner was the guy that actually have really good numbers? And I mean, if you honestly look at Billy Wagner's numbers throughout his whole career, he had 47 out of 40 wins. He had a 2.31 ERA. He had 422 saves. Now, I think that was pretty good, by far. But if you go from Houston all the way down to like Philly from 1995 to 2005, he had almost, he was 45% of his wins, and he had about like 40 wins between total of Houston. From the time he was with Houston, he had about almost 40 wins. And then he was with Philly for was with Philly for 2 years. He had 8 wins here. And then he had with the New York Mets from 2006 all the way down to 2009. He had almost, I would say, about 9 wins here. But let's look at his save totals. He had about 27 saves with the New York Mets in 2008. In 2007, he had 34 wins with the New York Mets there. 2006, he had 40 wins with the New York Mets in 2006. And then if you look at, let's see, he had from Philly, within 2 years, he had almost 40 combined. So I mean, the guy had a lot of saves. I mean, if I was really gonna go with a class A hot stoves here, I would definitely say that baseball creeped up even closer for Billy Wagner going into this Hall of Fame ticket. And I really did find that Billy Wagner happened to be that guy that I felt really deserved the ticket going in here in the Hall of Fame. Which, of course, if you guys watch the link provided, which I'll have at the end of the show, I'll have it in the show notes for you guys, that Scott Rowlands happened to be the pick. And I don't know if I really do agree with what happened there. And I really do believe that that Beltran and even Billy Wagner got snubbed. And how you go from 48 ballots and you only get one guy in there, when one guy only got 78% of the votes? And I think in my honest opinion that was a crock of bullshit. And why I say that is because, I mean, you only really induct only one guy in the Hall of Fame. How is it that you just snub the best players in the game? I can understand Carlos Beltran. Why I say I can understand Carlos Beltran is the fact that Carlos Beltran, the scandal, with the stealing the signs, but which makes me laugh about the signs is that, come on, everybody does this. Everybody steals signs. Everybody in the game knows that. Everybody in the game has learned to steal signs. It's part of the nature of the game. So I mean, with that being said, I mean, I could kind of understand. I mean, there was a lot of evidence. There was evidence shown that Carlos Beltran, could have possibly did it. They suspended him for it, which I think he didn't deserve that. But I mean, I just think it was uncalled for on what Major League Baseball did, because because you heard it, and then you even played a year later on it, and it's like, seriously. It's like, really? We have to go investigate a couple of years ago on it? So, I still think the snub was a little BS, but I really do believe that Billy Wagner deserved to be in the Hall of Fame. I don't know if the Mets are probably going to induct him into the Mets Hall of Fame. I don't know if I don't think he had enough years to be inducted into the Mets Hall of Fame. But, I mean, when he was with the New York Mets, he did have a big impact, But, I mean, his big career was really with Houston. So, I mean, it goes to show on where there is value with players, and it goes to show you on who you're actually going to pick and feel on what, if a player actually deserves to be into the Hall of Fame. I believe Billy Wagner deserved to be in the Hall of Fame. I do believe that Beltran deserved to be in the Hall of Fame. I go by numbers. I don't go by opinion. Give me the numbers. It's like, show me Beltran. Show me Billy Wagner. Billy Wagner had 47 out of 40 wins. He gave you almost 600 strikeouts. And it's like, are you kidding? It's like, are you really not going to put a guy like Billy Wagner not in all? You're putting Scott Rowland. I mean, don't get me wrong. All credit to Scott Rowland. But look at the career that Carlos Beltran had, and especially as a New York Met, no less. I mean, the guy went 270 at-bats. That guy gave you 435 home runs. 2,725 hits with 9,768 at-bats. I mean, and not only gives you 1,582 runs, but he also gives you almost 1,587 RBIs. And he stole 312 bases throughout his whole entire career. So, I mean, give the guy some credit. I mean, he had great numbers with the New York Mets for many, many years. And plus, even when he went to, with other teams, like, I'll say St. Louis. He went with the New York Yankees for a little bit. I mean, he went to Texas. He went to Houston. I mean, what do you say there? I mean, do you honestly give the guy credit? I give the guy credit. I think he was a great baseball player. The guy put up great numbers. And I feel that the guy deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. And he got snubbed out of it. And so did Billy Wagner. And even a lot of other guys, if you even look on that list on the 2023 season, Manny Ramirez had 129 votes. And I do believe Manny Ramirez deserved to be into that ballot. Alex Rodriguez, maybe not, because we all know what Alex Rodriguez did it. He did it 3 goddamn times. Didn't learn once. Didn't learn twice. But he didn't learn 3 fucking times. So would you honestly would put Alex Rodriguez into that mix? No. Does Alex Rodriguez deserve to get into maybe the Yankees Hall of Fame? Yes. But he's not a Hall of Famer. Andy Pennant is a Hall of Famer. And I know I'm going outside a little bit of the Mets here on this broadcast, but of course you go with Torrey Hunter. Torrey Hunter was a great player too. Even if you wanted to go with R.A. Dickey. R.A. Dickey sounds like even a good name. Adam Ethier. J.J. Hardy. I don't know about Johnny Peralta. I think Johnny Peralta was a good player, but I don't see him Hall of Fame material. Neither was Jason Hayworth. I don't find Jason Hayworth even Hall of Fame, material. Bronson Arroyo? Seriously? Matt Cain? Seriously? I mean, I kind of understand Hudson Streak. I like Hudson Streak. I thought he was actually a pretty good player. But Gary Sheffield, he was a Met for a little bit. I mean, I liked the guy. I thought he was a very good player. I mean, he had 2 years with the New York Mets. But, I mean, I honestly would give him credit when credit is due there. Who else would I say here? I would maybe would have gone with Jimmy Rollins. I think Jimmy Rollins was actually a pretty good player too, in his own right. Who else do we got here? Let's see. There was another guy here I seen. Are we not live? Yes, I will. I promise I will answer your questions in just a few moments. Just kind of want to see. Because I did get a question on the stream, but I do apologize for our not streaming on Instagram tonight. We will try to fix the issue there. I'll have my team is actually getting right on that now. So going back into the stories. Some odd reason we always have issues. Do apologize for that, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Okay, so now going into our second story of the day, we got Mets avoid arbitration with Alonso for a second straight year. And what do I honestly think about that? I think that, the Mets, I mean, he's a guy you honestly need to lock in. And why I say he's a guy you always want to lock in, because he gives you 40 home runs at best. He's now agreed to a $14.5 million deal for the 2023 season. He ended up avoiding salary arbitration, which he honestly really likes staying with the New York Mets. So, he's not going to go anywhere anytime soon, anywhere else. But the Mets also doubled his salary to $7.4 million, which he had in his first season through his arbitration, and now in his second year with the arbitration, now it's going to an increase to a $14.5 million increase. So that really does benefit Pete Alonso, because obviously, you know, Alonso's always going to give you numbers and put up numbers. So with that being said, it's always great to see Alonso being with the New York Mets, and plus with you know, the years that he has. I mean, the guy always gives you home runs. He gives you 40 home runs at best each and every year. He always pulls out at least 130 RBIs every season. So you know on what you're getting out of Pete Alonso every season. So is he worth the $14.5 million arbitration with that increase? Definitely 110%. So, but the Mets also arbitrated a lot of other guys too in this deal. The Mets also agreed to Drew Smith. The Mets also agreed to Thomas Nido. The Mets also agreed to Luis Guillaume. And they also agreed to two other pitchers, which was Elijah Hernandez and Jeff Brigham. So those were also other guys that were brought into this mix here. Thomas Guillaume and Hernandez both earned $1.6 million. Thomas Nido earns $1.5. Drew Smith will earn $1.3. And that will all basically, they try to disclose this, but it is now open to the public on their deals. So these deals are officially official. And they were actually official by the end. They were actually official today. So Thomas Nido, Drew Smith, Luis Guillaume, Elijah Hernandez, and Jeff Brigham, all those guys are now finally getting their due and earning their money. So I mean, Drew Smith, I think, had a very good season last year. I mean, he came really good coming out of that bullpen when you needed him. He came through for the Mets. I mean, he had 53 strikeouts. He went 46 in the third innings through 44 appearances. I mean, he had a very good season by far. So, I mean, he definitely deserved that salary increase, and went to $750,000, which made in 2022, and he's getting double with $856,000 throughout the season. And then what can we say with Jeff McNeil? You got Jeff that's going to be coming into a contract deal in the upcoming couple of weeks. We haven't really heard so much on the deal portion just yet. We should find out exactly when they'll have an arbitration deal. It's still in the works. I know you guys were asking me on if Jeff McNeil is going to get a salary increase. We are hearing that he could get a salary increase, but we are waiting to hear some word on Jeff McNeil. Also, we would like to thank you guys for the show today. We also want to thank our sponsor for sponsoring in our show today, SB Sports Athletics. They provide all New York Mets gear all season long. And if you would like to purchase anything that you see behind me today, which is through SB Sports Athletics, you guys can go to our website by going to MetsXMFanZone.com/shop, and you can get your gear today. And everything behind me, you can get it for 25% off on your first purchase. If you use the promo code MetsXMFanZone20, you get 20% off on everything on our show today. We would like to thank you guys for watching here. All right, moving right along. We have our next story. We got Buck ready for the 2023 season. Now, who can we honestly really call out here for the New York Mets? of course, we got Brandon Nimmo. Brandon Nimmo re-signs with the New York Mets this year, to almost an 8-year deal, and a lot of cash. So what do we see out of Brandon Nimmo going out in 2023? I think this lineup is going to be pretty stacked. But, I mean, if I really wanted to lay out the lineup, I would go Brandon Nimmo, center field, batting first. Then I would go batting second, playing shortstop, Francisco Lindor. And why would I say Francisco Lindor? Because not only is he a very good shortstop, he gives you numbers, and he could put up numbers. And I like what Lindor can do going into the 2023 season. He could back it up. We know he could give you runs when you need them, give you extra hits when you need them. It gives you many home runs that he will provide for this team, and he can produce. So, I mean, what can you say out of, Francisco Lindor? I think he would definitely, icing on the cake. And then I would probably go with Jeff McNeil batting in the third hole, playing second base. Then I would go with Pete Alonso. Then after that, I would go with Sterling Marte, because I love Marte. I think Marte needs to be in the middle of the lineup. I mean, he hits for power. He's got a good bat. And plus, what I would like to see is platoon with Brett Beatty into that mix, because I think Brett Beatty is going to have a good season also. I expect to see him out in the outfield, not third base. And why I say it in the outfield is because not only is he tall and lengthy, but he also has that bat speed. So, which I want to see him learn that outfield a little bit more, which the Mets are going to change his role into the outfield. So they're talking about putting him in left field, which will platoon with Mark Canha. And then I will go with Daniel Vogelbach. Daniel Vogelbach does hit for power. I think he's got a really good bat. He needs to prove a lot to me this year. And why do I say he needs to prove a lot? Because his bat speed needs to pick up more. I think he needs to have that philosophy a lot better in his tank. And he really needs to put in the time. They got to give him more time at bats. He didn't get a lot of playing time, but he needs to definitely produce that bat speed and move forward going into the 23 season. So I would like to see Vogelbach into that DH role. So expect to see him maybe going towards the bottom of the lineup. I mean, again, he'll probably be right above Marte, right above Brett Beatty, but definitely between that mix. And then, obviously, we go with the catcher in Omar Nieves. I think Nieves has a good glove. I love what I see out of that glove. I think his defense is going to be spun. He's an upgrade to James McCann. McCann was a very decent catcher, but again, he didn't hit. We know that Omar Nieves could hit. And he produces runs. He gives you home runs. He gives you RBIs. So he's a better upgrade to James McCann. So I really do feel that the production there will definitely pay off for the Mets in the long run. And then obviously we could go on with the rotation. Who's going to be your ace of the pitching rotation? Gonna probably be Justin Verlander, and then after that will probably be Max Scherzer. So, will those guys produce and give you guys enough numbers this year? I think the Mets could see value there. Not only will it be a lot of value between those two guys, there's a lot of money riding on those two guys. So you got 86 million reasons why Justin Verlander will give you that number one spot. So I would definitely like to see Justin Verlander have between 17 to 18 wins going in 23. And I think he's going to have a very fast start coming onto this club in 2013. I'm sorry, in 2023. Okay. So I had some questions. A lot of you guys were asking me. We will be opening up the lines, but we would like to take a short, brief break so that way we could give you guys the news. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to MetsXMFanZone Podcast. So today we would like to thank our sponsor for sponsoring here in our show today, SB Sports Athletics. They are one of the best merchandising companies that are sponsoring in our show. Everything that you see behind me, if you guys would like to purchase anything behind me, you guys can go to our website by going to MetsXMFanZone/shop, and you can purchase one of your Mets gear today. Again, you could go to MetsXMFanZone.com/shop, and if you guys would like to purchase any one of their shirts all season long, you guys could do that by going to MetsXMFanZone.com/shop. Use the promo code and MetsXMFanZone 20, and you get 20% off on your first purchase. So let's go back into the show here. So we did talk about on our last news article for today was Buck ready for the 2023 season. I gave you a little bit of the breakdown of the lineup, but who do I pick? And who do I feel that's going to really stand out of this lineup this year? So there are 5 guys I'm going to pick out. Now, most of these guys, most of the other guys I feel are just well expected, but I do believe that Brandon Nimmo is going to be your guy. Rise and shine, Brandon Nimmo. Hopefully, Brandon Nimmo will have a very good season. I want to see more run production out of Brandon Nimmo. I want him to get on base a little bit more, but I expect to see him go at least 30 home runs this year. I want to see about 80 to 90 RBIs, batting at about 250, 260. So he is one of my top guys on top of that list. And then, very well expected, I would say. I wouldn't say Francisco Lindor, because I know Francisco Lindor always gives you numbers. So I'm actually going to put him in the safe zone. And then I'm going to put Pete Alonso in the safe zone, because we all know that Alonso gives you 40 home runs, gives you at least over 130 RBIs, and will stay between 280, 250. So putting him in the safe zone. Jeff McNeil. Now, Jeff McNeil had a very good season in 2022. Was the National League MVP and most valuable slugger award winner. So, I mean, he needs to show me that he can repeat that. Can he repeat the year prior? I mean, he had over 100 RBIs. He didn't have a lot of home runs. That's not expected out of McNeil. We all know on how good he is on the field. He's not a guy that needs to come off the bench. He's a guy that needs to be on that field. Do I like Luis Guillaume? Do I feel Luis Guillaume is also another good defenseman? Yes, but I want to see Jeff McNeil also out there as well. Guillaume he's your backup at best. So I definitely would like to see McNeil being at second base, playing it every day. If you want to really put a guy in the outfield, which I'm also going to be putting in there in this mix, Brett Baty. Brett Baty is a very good player. I think he's going to be very good. He needs to show me some offense. I mean, he's pretty good. I think his defense is okay. I don't think it's great. offense. I want to see that bat. Shine that bat. And I mean, because he hits like Howard Johnson. Hojo. Hits like Hojo. I mean, he has a multiple players in his tenure, let me tell you. But he is a guy I feel that could really stand out on this club. And I do like him a lot. But I also do like I do like Pete Alonso. Pete Alonso is definitely going to be my guy always, as always. I mean, we even got, who else do we even got? I mean, we got Francisco Lindor. We even have the catcher. I think Nieves is gonna also have a good year. He's probably gonna be backup of Alvarez. I think Francisco Alvarez is also gonna have a really good season. He's a guy that needs to show me that he's valued and to play there behind the plate every game. I don't think that the Mets are gonna probably put him out there each and every game, but he can stand out. I think he's going to be a good player. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do. But Francisco Alvarez needs to prove to me that he could play every day. Well, not every day, but like enough where he's valued. So I would definitely like to see Francisco Alvarez pick up the pace and play better this year. I mean, I understand, last year it was just a little bit of a rocky start, but prove to me, kid, that you're allowed to be here. And I think he's going to be a very good player going into the 23 season. And plus, he's willing and very humble to be here. So hopefully we get to hear him start the season on this ball club. Also, just to let you guys know that spring training is right around the corner, 28 days away. Now, I will be down in Port St. Lucie February 18th. I'll be doing a live broadcast, and I will be getting some interviews with top major players. I'll be probably getting we are trying to get scheduled to interview Buck Showalters. We are scheduled to get an interview with Jeff McNeil and Francisco Lindor. I mean, we got denied. We actually got denied on Pete Alonso, but because on how busy Pete Alonso is going to be with a lot of people. But Francisco Lindor, Jeff McNeil, and we're also going to get Buck Showalter himself with an interview. So those will be 3 interviews that I will be looking forward to doing down in Port St. Lucie. So again, you guys can come down. I will be doing an autograph signing. If you guys would like to meet and greet with me, I'll be doing an autograph signing, and I will also be doing my live broadcast. Also, to let you guys know too, that we will be opening the phone lines on our next broadcast, which will be on Thursday. Our new scheduling is now going to be different. Will be different. So it's Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. Our shows are always going to be at 9 p.m. So if you guys would like to get in on that, please feel free to come in, share, like, and subscribe to the channel. So that way you guys don't miss a moment of our content. And plus, if you're on Facebook, hit that star notification so that way you show your support in loving our content as always. You could tweet, like, and subscribe to our channel. And plus, after this broadcast, you guys can listen to it on all major platforms, on Amazon Music, Iheart Radio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Again, I will be down at Port St. Lucie February 18th. I'll be doing a live broadcasting down there. Well, live podcast. And we're going to be getting interviews with Buck Showalters, Francisco Lindor, and we had Buck, Francisco Lindor, and we're trying to get an interview with Pete Alonso. So hopefully I'll be able to get that really soon. I mean, we did get denied, but we are trying to get interviews with Pete Alonso. But we are scheduled to have Lindor and Buck Showalters. So I would like to thank you guys for listening to the Mets podcast today. If you guys love our episodes, please don't forget to tweet, like, and subscribe. Don't forget to watch our shows Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays at 9 p.m. on all major platforms. You can also check out our website by going to MetsXMFanZone for our latest everything Mets. You can listen to our uploaded shows every day on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Iheart Radio, and Amazon Music. All links are in the show details. We would like to thank you guys always. Be safe, be well, and let's go Mets.